Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by the Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Good evening and welcome to Vernon Vibes. It's always good to be with you, and I'm very pleased to have with me today Ryan Williams. And Ryan Williams is a 2015 graduate of Vernon Township High School and is headed off to NJIT next fall. Ryan is working on his Eagle Scout merit badge and requirements to earn the Eagle Scout Award. And so I'd like to take just a few minutes to let him tell you about what's going on here in front of Town Hall, how it started, and what was involved in making this project come to the point where we are today, Ryan. So if you would, share with your neighbors and friends.
Okay. Well, today and for the past week, I've been working on the project that I'm not sure if you can see behind, but we've been working on it, and what we're doing is we're making a patio behind and around Samantha so that you can see all the plaques and so that you can walk around without hurting yourself, so that it doesn't get muddy, and we're just trying to make the community a better place.
Well, I've watched you work, Ryan, and I have to tell you that your organization skills are impressive. The help that you're getting from the other scouts in your troop is impressive, and I also want to say to you that your community thanks you, and we're proud that young men like you live in this community. I have said for a very long time that Vernon Township has a lot of strengths, but the two major ones for me is our beautiful environment that we live in and the people who are here. And certainly a young man like yourself is an example of that. So I thank you for your effort, and I wish you good luck, and certainly when the project is done, we'll recognize it appropriately.
Right.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the town?
I think I said it all.
Okay, if you're comfortable, thank you. Good
Thank
luck
you.
with the rest of it. Keep up the good work.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by the Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Welcome back. It's kind of fun to open the show with a segment like the last one that we had. I just want to say that there's so much of that goes on in Vernon Township. So what I'd like to do, of course, is to take a few minutes to keep you posted on some of the other things that have happened and that are going to happen. So let me start with my community bulletin board section. On August the 15th, from 12 until 3 p.m., the third annual Sussex County Veterans Picnic will occur at the American Legion Post 213 on Route 23 in Sussex, New Jersey. Now, this picnic has been sponsored by the Sussex County Department of Human Services, the Division of Senior Services, the Municipal Alliance, and the Sussex County Veterans Committee. It's open to all, and I would cordially, on behalf of them, invite you to join them. That's Saturday, August 15th, 2015, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the American Legion Post 213 on Route 23 in Sussex, New Jersey. I'd also like to, if I may, call to your attention actually a brochure that I received, and I'd like to encourage all of you to avail yourself of this information. There is an organization known as the Animal Rights Alliance. It actually is a nonprofit international society that, in fact, is concerned with the welfare and the well-being of animals throughout the country as well. It's a national organization. But this particular brochure indicates that there's some information and some education that we need to be doing. And so I'm going to take just a few minutes, if I may, to read some information to you. We know that unwanted animals are becoming a very real concern in many places. Stray animals can easily become a public nuisance, spraying and smelling and soiling parks and streets and shrubbery in the neighborhood and frightening children and elderly people. The capture, impoundment, and eventual destruction of these unwanted animals is a cost to us, the taxpayer. And we here in Vernon at the Animal Control Center do absolutely everything that we can not to euthanize animals. And there have been very few of them that I'm aware of, but I'd be less than honest if I didn't tell you that our animal control officers have trapped some feral cats, and after keeping them and observing them, recognized that they couldn't be adopted and couldn't be returned to a safe environment, and so they were euthanized over the years. It's not something that's just happened today. It's rare, but it has happened. And so why am I talking to you about it? Because this particular organization, the Animal Rights Alliance, indicates that if we were to, in fact, educate everyone about the need for neutering of males and spaying of females, cats, dogs, and all the like, we could frankly overcome some of the things that we're facing. And what do I mean by that? Well, for example, did you know that one female cat and her offspring in 7 years can produce 421,000 animals? Think about that. At the rate companion animals are being bred purposely or unwittingly, there will never be enough homes for all of them. The alternatives, as I indicated, are painful lives and painful deaths in shelters, euthanasia, amounting to millions in the U.S. alone. So what's the answer? Spaying and neutering. And so I'd like to encourage you to contact the Animal Rights Alliance Incorporated, and there will be an address on the screen that will help you do that. I'm most excited today to talk to you about something that occurred just this past Sunday. Vernon Township, through the efforts of the Vernon Township Historical Society, was the recipient of actually a stanchion plaque that was paid for and placed by the descendants of Thomas DeKay, the first European settler in Vernon Township. It was indeed a very successful and enlightening and educational ceremony that was held on the DeKay Road near the spot of the DeKay family cemetery. And we were blessed, in fact, to have direct descendants of Thomas DeKay there to talk about their family history and to share information with us, some of whom traveled here from Ontario, Canada. And for those of you who traveled DeKay Road, I'm sure that you will see the historical marker that now is in place there, as well as an American and a Canadian flag that are part of the display. Kudos to everyone involved, and thank you to the community. The number of people who turned out for this dedication on Sunday afternoon was impressive. While I didn't take a nose count, pictures that I'm sure many of you have already seen on Facebook will show you that there were a large number of Vernon residents and historians, members of the Sussex County DAR, including their president, B. Cota, from Franklin Borough, excuse me. So it was a very successful afternoon. Everyone retired to the Vernon Township Historical Society Museum, where that reception was held, and people got an opportunity to, in fact, learn more and visit more with the direct descendants of the Decay family. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.
Welcome back. Well, it's what's referred to in the world of politics as silly season. The campaign is on, and in the July 2nd to the 8th issue of the Advertiser News, we have an article that was written by Nathan Mayberg and Mike Zumo announcing Sally Rinker and Harry Shortway's bid for mayor. And as I responded in the following week, you will know that I welcome the challenge. But, as has been my custom and my reason for, in fact, originating Vernon Vibes, I want to speak to you directly about the things that have been said in those articles, and I want to respond to them. And I'd like to start by the first comment that about the former mayor, Mrs. Rinker, says she's owned various businesses in the township during the 31 years that she's been here. I'd like to ask her what to name those companies and tell the people in Vernon as to where they're at and how they're doing. She also indicated in her article that she's the president of the Vernon Taxpayers Association. Well, I've contended for a long time, and this statement in the paper just gives more credence to the fact that the Vernon Taxpayers Association is nothing more than Sally Rinker's political party. It has been that since 2011, and the behavior of the Vernon Taxpayers Association has been anything but concern for the taxpayers. It seems more like it's concerned with Sally Rinker's wishes. Why do I say that? Well, the one body, governmental body, that has raised taxes over the last 4 years, up until this year, by the way, and I'll deal with that in another segment, has been the Board of Education. I have never heard one word out of the VTA or out of Mrs. Rinker questioning the way that the money is spent at the Board of Education. So are they really a taxpayers association concerned with your taxes? If they were, they should be singing my praises, because for 4 years I have lowered your taxes and in fact delivered for 2015 a budget that would have done the same, except for a decision that the council and I made together to make available to our volunteer people, emergency services volunteer people in this township, a small clothing allowance of $300 per person when they meet the requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, that resulted in 0.25% increase in your tax rate for local municipal purposes. So over 4 years, the net cost of your property taxes for local purposes, that's your police department, that's your DPW, that's all of the offices here, that's all of the recreation, it's the maintenance of our assets, including the roads, the bridges, has not gone up 1 penny. I asked Mrs. Rinker to make that statement about her tenure as mayor, because she can't. Further, I see that she indicates that she's a former member of the Chamber of Commerce, a former member of the Vernon Historical Society. The operative word is former. How is it that you're not there anymore, Sally? Current member of the League of Women Voters and National Student Nurses Association. I can't let that one go unaddressed. Are you still in school, Sally? Are you still going to nursing school? Have you graduated from nursing school? Why don't you tell the public exactly what it is that you do for a living, or exactly what you're doing for a career? I think they have a right to know. And the last, a 3-term officer in the county Republican committee. Sally Rinker's not an officer. She's a county committee person in the district she lives in, okay? That's something far different than being a 3-term officer. Her comment, Vernon taxpayers and residents deserve truthful and respectful, transparent government. Sally, they already have it. You may not think so because it doesn't serve your purpose, but the vast majority of people in this township know exactly what I've done as the mayor. And as a matter of fact, on a future show, I'm going to bring out my platform from 2011 and read it to you folks, and then ask you to be the judge, because every single thing that I said I would do as the mayor of this township, I have done and more. I'll be back in just a minute.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
Welcome back. I'd like to stay with the article that we were talking about in the last segment for just a moment, because, of course, my other opponent, Mr. Harry Shortway, is also quoted, and to be frank with you, I just cannot not respond. The first thing that Harry Shortway said in the interview was, I want to see things done in this town. Well, Mr. Shortway, what things are you talking about? We have paved Canister Road, we've paved Breakneck Road, we've fixed the intersection of 517 and Maple Grange Lonsbury. We have presently repaired, through oil and stone and other mechanisms, over 40% of the road miles owned by Vernon Township. Our parks are being maintained, and there is a plan to continue to be able to do that. We've improved the basketball facilities that were virtually unplayable at Veterans Park by moving it. We've done a lot of things, Harry. My question is, where have you been for the last 4 years? Nobody's seen you, nobody's heard from you. I certainly haven't seen you in town hall, and I'm surprised at that, Harry, because frankly, I thought that you were a man of character, and if you were interested in something like this, that you'd actually do some research. I see that you indicate that you've read the township audits online, and that makes you qualified to ask for a forensic audit. The implication of that, Harry, is that there's something amiss. If you want to know where everything is, there's definitely a mechanism for that, and it's not hard to do. It just takes some time and effort and some education on your part. By the way, from my point of view, okay, you've criticized the addition of employees in Vernon Township. Well, I have 2 things to say about it. The previous administration, of which you were part of, didn't cut the fat out of Vernon Township's budget under the Management Council form of government. You cut the muscle. And if we're going to deliver the services that we need, we had to find a way that we could do it and afford it. The 22 employees that have been hired since I've been the mayor have covered people who have retired, people who have left, and the net man hours to achieve what we have achieved are slightly up, slightly defined as costing a lot less than if I had hired 22 full-time employees, because you see, of the 22 that you're talking about, 9 of them are part-time. Having said that, okay, here's the bottom line. This hogwash by you and Mrs. Murphy and Mr. Kadish and Mrs. Rinker and the Vernon Taxpayers Association that I'm borrowing money to run this township is absolutely false. The $10 million that you and she keep referring to, of it, $6 million was to buy the sewer system and see that it was funded properly, and that's being paid back by the users of the system. Somebody who was there at the creation along with the mayor. And by the way, you were the person that made Sally Rinker the mayor when you were on the town council. And your friendship with Mrs. Murphy is quite clear because she's supporting you, not Mrs. Rinker. Do you people get the dots connected? Because you should, okay? Harry, you are attempting to write checks that your experience and your ability cannot cash. Your history as a police officer and then as a teacher and then as a coach doesn't prepare you to deal with the kinds of things that are now the responsibility of the mayor of Vernon. So what does that mean? It means, Harry, that if you're elected the mayor, you're going to have to go out and hire a professional to do the job that I'm doing now for Vernon Township. I'll be back in just a minute.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Here with me is Councilman Brian Lynch, former council president, as a matter of fact, Brian Lynch, and certainly someone who has been right from the very start present in this administration and a leader of your town council. And so, Brian, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Actually, I always enjoy when we're together, whether it's on camera or whether it's somewhere else. Brian and I not only work well together, we laugh well together, and that says something about the working relationship that we have. But I would like to pick up on the silly season, because there's no question that from now until November, you're going to be hearing all kinds of allegations or claims or whatever you might want to call it. And so I want to move fast forward, if I can, to the article that appeared in the Advertiser News July 9th through 15th issue. First of all, it's reported that Mrs. Rinker had in fact filed her petition for mayor already with our municipal clerk, Lauren Kirkman. And so that having been said, this is funny. I had said in my comments that I would hope that this would be an issue-oriented campaign, Brian.
I would certainly hope so as well.
Well, has it been so far?
Absolutely not. It's just been the same rhetoric from the original campaign back in 2011. Quite honestly, it's more of the same. It's about everything but what really matters here in Vernon Township. When I was appointed to the council in 2010, it was done after much thought, because I had to see the DPW workers come before the town council at the time, while former Mayor Sally Rinker was in office, and actually had to put a presentation on to try to convince the council not to lay them off, but that their job actually matters. And it was quite troublesome that the very first way of budgeting balancing the budget under her administration, when I wasn't on the council, the very first thing to do was to lay people off. And when you balance the budget on the backs of people, you lose what you had said before was the muscle. You're not able to get the things done that you need to get done. And quite honestly, her resume that she put in the Advertiser should actually have been checked by the Advertiser for
accuracy.
I have to tell you, it's you could say what you want about yourself, but you have to be right.
You know, it's interesting, in the article that we're talking about here, Mrs. Rinker goes on to indicate that Rinker has always objected to the fact that there's no debate or no discussion at the council meetings. You want to react to that?
I have a big problem with that. What is the debate? We've lowered taxes 3 years in a row. We've kept them flat for the fourth year. What is the debate? What if something is going well and something is working? What is the alternative? For it not to work? What is the alternative? To raise taxes? And I don't quite understand the assertion that Harry Shortway, which I also had a tremendous amount of respect for, to ask for a forensic audit. Okay? I've never heard anything until he said it in the paper. He's never come to a council meeting and said it. There has never been one suggestion by our auditors that things needed to be changed. And what is the debate going to be? Are we going to have a debate on raising taxes? Which we had a discussion. We did raise the taxes a minimal amount.
Quarter of 1%.
A quarter of 1% for the
Over the 4 years.
over the 4 years for the most backbone of Vernon Township, and that's our volunteers.
By the way, we have over 300 volunteers involved in the 4 fire companies and the 2 ambulance squads. Brian, you know how important that is.
Not all of them are going to be receiving any money anyway, they all realize that.
We understand that. They understand that. But the point of the matter is, you're absolutely right. This township could not safely function without those people.
We have so many other boards and commissions that have the backbone of Vernon Township, and these people are doing the job. And to have a debate, what are we going to? I'm asking in rhetoric, in a rhetorical way rather. What are we going to debate?
Well, I can say this, and it's a good question. So I think a good place for us to end is this way. I'll be more than happy to discuss any issue, to debate any issue, because frankly, the facts are on my side of this issue. My record is clear. The things that we have achieved together are clear, and I want the people in Vernon, when they go to the polls in November, to speak clearly about the direction of this community. Do we want to continue to grow our commercial zone, our commercial area, to help offset the problem with property taxes that we're going to face as we go down the road? Do we want to continue to run the township in a way that is affordable? I believe I've shown you 4 years that I'm capable of it, and in another 4 years I'll demonstrate that we'll continue to work on your behalf to keep the taxes down and to improve the services. And I want to thank Brian, Pat Rizzuto, Dick Wetzel, and Eddie Dunn before he left the town council as being a very big part of that. I'd love to tell you that the other members who are a part of that, they've been nothing but naysayers, and frankly, in my personal opinion, don't deserve to hold office in this township. Thank you. I'll look forward to seeing you on the next Vernon Vibes.
Vernon Vibes is brought to you in part by United Water, the official water company of Vernon Township. United Water, involved in the communities they serve.
The Vernon Independent Retailers Association reminds you that when you shop locally, you're helping to build our community by supporting local employment and keeping your tax dollars in our community. Support the Vernon Independent Retailers who support you. Brought to you by The Copy Center, H&H Auto Parts, Healthy Times Market, Heaven Hill Farm, Lakeland Pool and Spa, McAfee Ski and Snowboard, Valley Paint and Hardware, and Vernon Tire and Auto Center. Come in, we're local.
Hi, I'm Shannon Sweeney. I've been a player or coach for most of my life, and I understand the need to keep our kids motivated and safe. As a parent and coach, I also understand the need to make sure our children are protected. That's why insurance is as an important part of the game as a good coach is. I've known my fellow coach, Wayne Dietz, for 10 years. I've seen him motivate and inspire players both on and off the floor. I've also seen him make sure that our children are safe by making sure that the teams are properly insured. As a coach, we don't often think about insurance, and when you work with Wayne and his team at D&H Risk Solutions, you won't have to. They take care of everything with honesty and integrity so that you can focus on what you do best, coaching your team to victory.